Hello, guys, and welcome to episode, what is it? Two. Oh, snaps. We're up to two. That means we're making a name for ourselves. Yeah. Just kidding. We're up to episode two of The Last Point. Thank you guys for tuning in to our weekly podcast, which will be coming to you every Tuesday morning. So that way you can start off your gaming week with all the news and info you need to have and need to know, and that's what we're here for. Today we're gonna go over. There's some things we're gonna go over. There's some other things we're gonna go over. Some things that are important, some things that aren't, some things that are biased to what I prefer. But you know what? It's my podcast. I can do whatever the hell I want. So deal with it. So anyway, I'd like to thank you for tuning in today. If you haven't subscribed already, subscribe to the channel. There's a nice little red button there for you to click on if you enjoy the podcast. More content is actually going to be coming. Expect some live streams, especially tomorrow, which has a lot to do with our podcast today. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, and it's going to be here for as long as I can foreseeable see it. Also, follow me on Twitter at Jeremy Scott LP. That's honestly going to be the best way to get a hold of me right now. I don't have a Facebook. Well, I have a Facebook, and I'm not giving it to you. And I don't use Instagram. Well, I have an Instagram too, but I'm not giving that out. So, but Twitter's probably going to be your best bet. So, hashtag the last point. That'll be our hashtag. That's going to be our hashtag. Hashtag the last point for all your news and information with the gaming community when it comes to PS4, Xbox One, I almost said PlayStation. Wait, yeah, that's not how it works. The PlayStation 4, the Xbox One, the Nintendo Wii U, and everything in between, up, down, and all around. Hell, we're going to be getting into VR and all that fun stuff. So, just keep it right here on the channel. We're going to give you all the information you need. So let's start off with something simple. And to be honest, it's the Tokyo Game Show 2016. Now, like I said, to be completely honest, it's in Japan, and it's more fueled and it's more aimed at the Japanese market. So, I mean, there's some things that Americans, the North American fans, even European fans are going to find intriguing. A lot of what comes out at the Tokyo Game Show is geared to the Japanese audience, obviously. And trust me, that's the way it's gone. Mobile gaming is big, big in Japan. Console gaming is not as big as it used to be. I mean, it's still there. Persona, which is still big over there. I mean, we have it here. Doesn't have the type of following it does over in Japan. There were lines, and I mean lines upon lines, waiting to get this game. I mean, you gotta realize it's a new set of characters. I mean, it's had the same character for a very long time, but it's new characters, first time in 8 years. I mean, so it's a big deal in Japan. So just keep that in mind. That it's more geared to the mobile gaming. I'm not saying that's all that they had, but trust me, there's a lot of things that were brought out. There's a lot of gameplay trailers. There's a lot of hands-on demoing. Final Fantasy 15 had a big showing. Resident Evil 7 Biohazard, which is actually called Biohazard in Japan, but Resident Evil 7 Biohazard had a very big showing. Yakuza 6, which hasn't had as much fanfare in the U.S., but it still is a decent game. I mean, Sleeping Dogs is probably the bigger of the two, but hey, what can you do? Monster Hunters, which has I don't want to say a small following, but has a credible following here in the U.S. So, but nonetheless, Final Fantasy 15, big showing. It's looking fantastic. Obviously, I mean, We've seen the game. We saw a lot of the gameplay at E3. There's not really a whole lot of new stuff. Niho looks very intriguing. I honestly had just heard about it at E3, but I mean it's actually looking very very cool by the guys at Team Ninja, and it's it's like a Japanese Soul game. So I mean that's honestly the best way to put it. But it looks fantastic. Um, right now, it's scheduled to come out in February. So there's some demos and stuff, but there's still a little bit of time. So, but like I said, it's more just like it's more just demos, videos, and stuff like that. Nothing not anything super major. There was nothing on the Nintendo that came up. There was not a whole lot to do with really much of anything that hasn't already been announced as far as like the PlayStation Pro or the Slim or the VR headset. So other than that, not a whole lot to talk about from the Tokyo Game Show. It doesn't have as big as a following as it has used to have in the past, but that's okay. Like I said, a lot of mobile gaming was present, a lot of VR stuff, a lot. I mean, a lot of VR, especially stuff that's geared more to the Japanese market as far as uh, dating sim games and stuff like that. That's just how it rolls. Unfortunately, but what can you do? Anyway, if you want to see anything as far as gameplay trailers, YouTube's a great, you know, source for that. I suggest looking at Final Fantasy 15. Obviously, Neo is gonna look great. Resident Evil 7, Biohazard, like I said, should look pretty good. So I highly suggest if you're interested in some of that stuff, check it out. Anyway, we're gonna go ahead and move on. We've got some other things coming. This is actually a little more low key, but I figured I'd bring this up because I came across it and it was interesting to me. League of Legends. I know there's people out there that play this game. I personally don't, but I did find this interesting. League of Legends is actually going to be making a board game. I know, right? A board game? A board game? What are you talking about? Yes, Leagues of Legends is making a board game. Right now, there's not 10 million things about it, but it's called Mechs versus Minions. And it's actually it's a legitimate. Like I said, it's legitimately a board game that is from League of Legends. So I mean, if you've played the game, you definitely know a lot more about it than I'm going to know. But I'm still going to go ahead and throw out the info because I know you guys know more about some of these than I do. I have a certain. I'm not going to say I watch and play certain games. I do know about just about anything that comes out. But League of Legends, oh, excuse me, is a free to play game. A lot of people do play it. Just to, I got this from The Verge. I'll just go ahead and I'm gonna read this to you guys, just because, like I said, I'm not a big player of it, but I figure if I give you guys the information, then the ones that do play it will know what I'm talking about. League of Legends, the massive multiplayer online strategy game, which now boasts more than 100 million monthly players, is getting a new spin-off soon, but it's not a video game. Developer Riot Games is working on a new board game called Mechs vs. Minions, which looks to combine the strategy elements of League with story-driven missions and lots of miniature figures. Which I've seen some of these figures and they look fantastic. They're very detailed. I mean, if you I'm not gonna. They're smaller. They're not like your amiibo characters or even your Disney Infinity or Skylanders, but they're littler. I mean, they're littler. They're small little figures like, board game figures, but they have a hell of a lot of detail. Mechs vs. Minions will offer 10 different missions, each of which takes an estimated 60 to 90 minutes to play through. It's a cooperative experience which players take the role of one of 4 different league champions: the Cork-Eye, the Tristiana, the Hermandinger, and the Ziggs, as they fight off waves of minion enemies without while piloting mechs. It looks like there's a good deal in the box too. Will feature 5 game boards, 4 painted mech figures, 100 miniature minions, and an assortment of other knickknacks, including dice cards, acrylic shards, and a power source miniature. So there's a lot. So I mean, it's your normal board game. It has what you need in order to play. Obviously, this is looking to be more geared to League of Legends players who have a better understanding of it. Development of the game began about 3 years ago, and Riot created the entire experience internally, as opposed to working with an external board game developer. It started as a passion project, says associate producer Chris Cantrell. For about half of that time, Cantrell was the only dedicated person to the game, and it's largely the Mecha Minion team was around 7 people, most of whom were also working on other projects at the studio. So this is very close knit. This wasn't a high end major project. It's very close knit, which is good because then that allows you to keep a lot of the creative intact. So that way, you can really put together something unique. It's actually going to be available through the Riot Store on October 13th for $75. So if League of Legends is your cup of tea and you want to get on some insane, crazy board gaming, then this is definitely something you should look into. Next, let's go over the important stuff. The new releases for today. Today, you can go to the game store of your choice, whether it be Best Buy, GameStop, or if you buy them online, or if you buy them on your systems. Today is the day you can buy these games, and these games are going to be out. Not all. I should specify. Not all these games come out today. Most of them come out today. I have one that came out yesterday, but they all come out today, and if they don't come out today, they come out on Friday. But today, this is your list of your new releases for the week of the 19th, or the 18th, if you want to go with Saturday, or Sunday, sorry. So, the week of September 18th. By far the biggest, the biggest multi-platform release today is Destiny Rise of Iron DLC that comes out today. Probably the biggest DLC to come out for Destiny, and I mean not in forever, but it is the new big huge DLC pack, Rise of Iron, and it actually comes out officially today. It's the first. Yeah, exactly. It's the first. It's the first DLC to come out since the Taken King, and it's about. I wouldn't say it came out a hell of a lot later, but it's been almost a year since the Taken King has. No, yeah, it has been a year. Yeah, it has been a year since the Taken King has come out. So this is the. I've been told it's supposed to be the last major DLC, but if if the trend continues, don't be surprised if we have another big DLC come out. But right now, this is supposed to be the last one. This is going to be the biggest thing out today. So if you have Destiny and you have the Taken King and you want to, raise your level cap, have more stuff to do, and all that other fun stuff, then pick up Rise of Iron. I haven't played Destiny since before the Taken King. Destiny was a fun game, in my opinion, but once I hit the cap before before all the light became more crucial to the game, I stopped playing. But Destiny Rise of Iron is out today if you want it, and it obviously is on Xbox One, PlayStation 4. So pick that up today. As far as a full-fledged game, Forza Horizon 3 comes out today on the Xbox and PC. This is an exclusive. Actually, it comes out on Friday. I guess is what I should specify, just so you guys understand. Comes out on Friday, but this is the big major game that isn't a DLC pack that comes out this week. Obviously, Forza Horizon was a very, very, very fun game. Really took Forza, which is basically the Gran Turismo for Xbox, and gave it a spin, and got more into, I don't want to say into the need for speed, but it gave you a different sense of how to play. Open world's fantastic. Gave you challenges. I mean, I really was a really big fan of Forza Horizon, the very first one. I love playing the second one, so I'm really excited for this to come out on Friday. Unfortunately, I'm not picking it up yet. I've got my gaming tied up for this week, so Forza 3 is going to be getting picked up a little later, but it is on my to-do list. But for Forza Horizon 3 comes out on Friday, so get ready to race your friends and travel back to Horizon for the festival and some more racing. For you PC heads out there, Warhammer 4000 Eternal Crusade comes out today on PC. We also have H1Z1 King of the Kill for PC also coming out today. So PC's got a couple games coming out today, which is a good thing. Excuse me. As far as we have some more DLC, as stated last week, Batman had its season pass disc come out. Today we have the single release of Episode 2, Children of Arkham, for the Telltale version of Batman. Comes out on PS4, Xbox One, and PC, so pick that up. Obviously, if you have the Season Pass, you can be downloading that today. And then we have some smaller games, but some very intuitive games. We got Firewatch, which has had some interesting has had some interesting things going on about it. It's more of a first-person mystery adventure. Takes place in '89. You're obviously doing a Firewatch at a national forest park, and it kind of follows you and some of the strange happenings. I don't want to say it's exactly like an Alan Wake, but it's kind of got that feel. But it should be good. That's what we're hoping. It comes out today. And then of course we also have Dear Esther, which has not been labeled as a video game per se. It came out a few years ago. In fact, this is actually the re-release of it onto PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. It's actually been out since 2012. I would say it's probably more of like a gone home, whereas more or less kind of a visual thing. It's more or less trying to take in the scenery. I mean, I'm trying to. There's an older game that I had played a long time ago that was very similar to this, where you weren't really playing it. You were trying. It was more of an ambiance kind of thing. Let me know what you think Dear Esther is going to be comparable to, especially if you played it. If you played it, then you know more than I do. I could always just go online and I can just read you anything I can find, but there's no point in doing all that. But I have heard it is a very visually appealing game, and that's pretty much its biggest thing. You can get this. It's on Steam. It's been on Steam since release, but now it's coming out on the PS4 and the Xbox One with more than likely achievements, which is what everybody loves. And that's pretty much it. Obviously, there's probably other DLC out there that's coming out today, and there's probably other games that I have not covered that are coming out today. But those are the bigger ones. Those are the ones that most people are going to be in tune to, or the Warhammer, the Force of Horizon 3, which comes out on Friday, and obviously the big DLC, Destiny's Rise of Iron, comes out today. So make sure to check out your local GameStop, Best Buy, Walmart, Target, wherever you buy your video games, to pick these fantastic games up if those are your cup of tea. If not, then don't worry. We do have some big games coming very, very soon, within the next month, actually. Gears 4. That's right. Gears 4 comes out October 7th, followed by Mafia 3 and Paper Mario's Color Splash. So both all come out on the 7th of October. So only a couple weeks away. And then you've got personal favorite of mine, WWE 2K17 comes out on the 11th, followed by the PlayStation VR hardware set is coming out October 13th, so a little under a month away. And 1 month from today, Battlefield 1 hits the market. The World War One shooter that is ditching the high-end fancy tech and the jumpsuits and the backpacks and the space travel and all that bullshit finally hits October 18th. We are going to have some coverage on that when we obviously get to that point, but one more month and we can get back to the Call of Duty Battlefield frenzy that we get every year, because that's how the hell we do shit. But I digress. That's not what we're here to do on this channel. We're not here to cater to the Call of Duty fans, and we're not here to cater to the Battlefield fans. That is not what we do. That is not what we're going to do. That's not to say that they won't show up on the channel. That's not to say that there won't be coverage on it. But that is not what we're here to do. Is just sit here and cater to the tens of thousands of millions of people that only sit there and buy Call of Duty to play it online and say that they are the best player on the planet. I don't care. Call of Duty has not been good for almost a decade. A decade. Do you understand that? I mean, it's been since 2009, the last good Call of Duty, Modern Warfare 2. My favorite Call of Duty, as a matter of fact, came out in 2009. 7 years ago. Almost a decade. We're rounding up because that's what we do here on the Last Point. Almost a decade has gone by since Call of Duty's been relevant. Since Call of Duty's been good, it has not been annoying as hell. But at least we're getting a remastered Modern Warfare 4. That's an advantage. All right. And finally, guys, we're going to. This is going to be fairly short because we have a lot of content coming this week. We have gameplay footage. We're getting live streams put up this week. We've got the first top 10 coming out this week. So we're going to be a little light on the Last Point this week. Don't worry. It's getting to that time of year where all the big games come out. So don't worry. There's going to be a lot to cover. Like I said, Gears 4 comes out in a couple weeks. You've got the PlayStation VR is coming out in a month. Battlefield comes out in a month. Call of Duty's coming out in a month and a half. You've got everything else and all these other expansions and stuff coming out over the next 2 months. So there's a lot to cover, a lot to go over, a lot of things that are going to be discussed and bitched about and ranted about. But we're going with the personal preference to end today's episode. If you figure there's one thing I did not talk about as the Star Wars Battlefront DLC, which comes out today, the Death Star DLC. Now, I know there's a lot of people out there that are like, you play Battlefront, but you bitch about Call of Duty and you bitch about Battlefield. It's all the same shit. If you're going to play Battlefront, then you should be playing Call of Duty. You should be playing Battlefield and all that other. I'm aware of that. But you know what? I am a Star Wars fan. I am a Star Wars geek, whatever the fuck you want to call it. I have been a Star Wars fan since I was a kid, since I was 2, 3 years old, and the first one I ever saw was The Empire Strikes Back when I was 3 years old. My grandma took me to the library. She said, pick a movie. It stuck out for some reason. I picked it up. I took it home. I sat there on the floor in front of my TV watching this VHS copy of The Empire Strikes Back while I was sitting on the floor eating my bologna sandwich with some potato chips. And I sat there and I watched the entire movie. The entire movie. For a 3-year-old to sit there and watch the whole thing is not heard of nowadays. And I sat there and watched the entire thing, and I've watched it time and 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 time again. So I'm a Star Wars fan. So because of that, strictly because of that, I got Battlefront, and strictly because of that, I love playing this game. The mechanics when the game came out were complete crap. The game was almost complete crap when it came out. Beautiful game. Looks fantastic. Graphics are great. And everything. The mechanics were just crap. Just pure crap. As time has progressed, it has become more balanced. It does work a lot better. It is still not the greatest game in the world. It will never be the greatest game in the world. That's just how it works. But these DLC patches made it a lot better, has made it a lot more balanced, and has made it funner as time has progressed. And this is the DLC pack I have been waiting patiently for. The Death Star DLC. And by golly, it's a big one, and it's going to be intriguing. Comes out today. If you bought the season pass, you get it today. Unfortunately, if you didn't, then you gotta wait 2 more weeks until October 3rd. But if you bought the season pass, which I did, which will be live streaming this week, which we will be uploading this week, and you will get to see everything from Chewbacca and Bosk as the new heroes. You'll get to see the new modes and all that other fun stuff. So let's go over a little bit of what we got coming out. Like I said, it comes out tomorrow for season pass holders. It comes out on October 3rd if you are buying these separately. I bought the season pass because, yeah, well, I'm not a big fan of buying season passes. I'm not a big fan of DLC. Last real good deal I ever got was when I bought the DLC for, coincidentally enough, Modern Warfare 2, and it cost me $8, and it gave me 5 maps, 3 brand new maps, and it was fantastic, and I was happy with it. Now you have to pay $50 for 6 maps and a bunch of skins and a bunch of bullshit, and I'm not cool with that. But it's a new day and age. You just got to pick and choose when you want to buy DLC. Anyway, like I said, 2 new heroes. Chewbacca, a fan favorite that everybody's been patiently assuming was going to come, now leaves the door open for who's going to be the last DLC hero, because there's no info on the expansion 4. None whatsoever. Just has an early 2017 release date. That is it. Don't know what the theme is. We don't know who the heroes are. There's speculation that it's going to be Yoda. I honestly don't feel like it's going to be Yoda. I feel like we're going to get it out of left field. I feel like potentially an Obi-Wan. That would be my guess. But anyway, to go back to the Death Star DLC, you got Chewbacca for the Rebels, and you got Bosk for the Imperials. If you don't know, Bosk he's actually if you watch The Empire Strikes Back, he's the crocodile-looking bounty hunter in the yellow and white suit that is standing up there when Vader is trying to get these bounty hunters to find the Millennium Falcon. So, like I said, you can type it in BOSSK and you'll see who I'm talking about. Those are your 2 new heroes. Anyway, and then we also have some new fighters, since we've got space battles. Finally, space battles we are finally getting after so much time of just going 10 feet in the air from the maps we play on normal. We are getting space battles. You get the Vader TIE Advance X1 and Luke's Red 5 X-Wing as our newest hero, uh, like the Millennium Falcon and the Slave One. You're now getting the Vader TIE Advance X1 and Luke's Red 5 X-Wing, so those are going to look pretty sweet. The new mode, which has been touted for the last couple of weeks, is Battle Station, which is very, very. It's very complex. It's not complex. I guess that's a bad word to use, but it's very involved. It requires a lot of steps. Obviously, it's basically it's not a complete recreation of A New Hope and that whole end battle scene, but basically you have to take out a Star Destroyer. If you're the Imperials, you obviously have to refrain from them destroying the Star Destroyer, obviously, um, which allows you to gain access to the Death Star. You then have to take your probe. You have to take an R2 unit, retrieve plans, and then escort the droid back off of the Death Star, and then you have to then blow up the Death Star if you're the rebels, and obviously if you're the Imperials, you have to impend all this. So it's going to be intriguing. It's going to be very, very involved, and there's going to be a lot going on. So this should be very interesting. It's basically Walker Assault in space, which would be awesome. Some new outfits are coming out also. You got the X-Wing pilot, and then a Rebel officer for the Rebels, and then a Death Star trooper, and then a Imperial officer. Also, with this, there's going to be custom outfits. So no more do you have to sit here and you have to have one person with one shirt, one pair of pants. You are now going to be able to customize which figurehead you use, what outfit you're going to use, and all that fancy stuff. So there's going to be a lot more customization for your multiplayer player, whether you're playing the Imperial or the Rebels side. So that is very intriguing. We got some vehicle power-ups that are going to be used in Fighter Squadron and Battle Station. You got they're going to be AI controlled backups going to come in and help you. The B wing, the Y wing, the Tide Bomber, the Tide Defender. You get these power ups and they will come in. They will help you. They will help defend you as you're doing your own thing. So as far as like Battle Station, if you're focusing on destroying the Star Destroyer, it'll help knock off enemies that are attacking you. So that way you can focus more on what you're doing and various other things. Some of the new guns are coming out too. The guns are interchangeable. Some of them are automatic, some are semi-automatic, some are single shot. Some are more powerful than others. Some have a charge. So I mean, the guns aren't really all that great. So I mean, you got a new pistol, you got a new repeater that comes out. The cap goes from 70 to 90. I was expecting 70 to 80. So the cap is going to go from 70 to 90. So 20 whole levels. So that's leading me to think that the last DLC is going to be like a March, April, which will probably put the cap to 100, which is naturally what I was going to assume was going to be the cap. So now we got plenty of time to reach that level 90. So, and then of course we also have some new star cards, which we have a medical droid, which is a stationary star card, which actually provides healing and boosts your star card recharge as you stand near it, which is a nice little addition. And then a laser trip mine, which is actually has a built-in scrambler and jam scanners, and it's obviously a trip mine. So some very intriguing stuff. Some minor additions. You get to customize your player. You get some new star cards. You get some new weaponry. But obviously, the big thing here is the two new hero players, and then obviously the new game mode, and obviously the good old-fashioned let's blow up the Death Star, Luke. So that's pretty much it. That's all we have as far as news and what's coming up and what's out. That's pretty much all we have. We have the Battlefront DLC. We have all your game releases for the month. Tokyo Game Show had a lot more mobile gaming because that's just what Japanese people are into nowadays. You can't see somebody on a bullet train and not see them on their phone. They have handhelds, but you can't not see them on their phone. So, and then some coming soon games, and then obviously the League of Legends board game. Not other than that, we don't have a whole lot. I do expect to see a lot more coming up in the next coming weeks, especially with the final stretch for Gears coming up. So there's a lot that's going to be going to that. Our good old Xbox One exclusive, and then of course, my personal take, which would be 2K17, which I'm going to do a good old nice debut gameplay for that. And then, of course, the big juggernauts that are going to be coming out at the end of the year: Battlefield Run, Titanfall 2, Call of Duty Infinite Warfare, and all that fun stuff. So there's some content coming. So anyway, I thank you guys for tuning in to the podcast. I feel it getting more intuitive, getting more involved in other things, but it takes time. You can't expect me to sit here and just give you AAA content every time. It just takes time. It takes time for me to really find my voice and find what really drives me, what sticks out, what's something that's going to appeal to you and appeal to me and makes me want to sit here and deliver, premium content. I mean, it's very hard for me not to sit here and rant and complain and bitch about other things, but I mean, if I wanted to, I could bitch about a lot of things. I could bitch about how there's always connection issues on certain games. I can bitch about how people want to sit here and play online games and then not use mics and not want to communicate and then get mad at you when you don't do what they ask. I mean, there's anything and everything you can think of. And that's just the name of the game. That's just how it works. So to refrain from sitting here and going on mass tangent and bitching and complaining about certain things, we'll leave it at that. Just keep in mind, like I said, we've got gameplay for the DLC for Star Wars coming out tomorrow night. We also have some live streaming we're going to do. I think we're going to live stream, not necessarily Battlefront. I think we'll take it easy and just live stream some Grand Theft Auto. Sounds like a good idea. We'll live stream some Grand Theft Auto, and we'll take on some insane bullshit. We'll see if I might see if we can pull off the 5-star road trip. But either way, stay tuned to the channel. We have a lot of content coming this week. Remember, hit that subscribe button if you like the podcast. Hit a thumbs up or hit a thumbs down if you thought it was stupid. I don't really care. I'm gonna do this until I have no reason to do it. Like I said, subscribe to the channel. Follow me on Twitter at JeremyScottLP. Best way to voice your opinion and bitch about how bad I'm doing or how fantastically awesome I'm doing, or more than likely how bad I'm doing, since everybody's got to be a troll on the internet. And I'd like to thank anybody that's listening now. And support if you want to support the channel, hit that thumbs up, like, share, and subscribe, as everybody likes to say, because we've got to pander to get fans, and that's what we're here to do. Is we're here to pander and get views, and get subscriptions, and get likes, so that way somebody gets money. I don't get jack squat, but somebody out there gets money. Somebody out there gets something from people doing shit like this. So fuck it. Who cares? So I will see you next week for the last point. Hopefully we'll have some major. Actually, you know what? I'm pretty sure we're going to be doing a lot of coverage on Gears and Battlefront, since we're getting closer and closer to those releases. So we'll probably have a lot of Gears talk. Probably have a lot of Mafia 3 talk. Or unless something major happens. I mean, like I said, the VR set for PlayStation comes out in a couple weeks. So tune in to the channel. We'll have lots of live streaming, and just be prepared. We're working on it. We're working to be better. So thanks for tuning in, and remember, like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you next week for the last point.